What's going on, folks? Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing? Where'd the chat go? It's disappeared from me. Here we go. Vlad, Alessia, Milan, what is going on, guys? Hopefully this is working. How's everybody's Tuesday going? I hope well. I hope it's been a good start to the week and that everyone's staying healthy. We're going to be looking at Procreate today. Probably a short one, but it's going to be, I think, a fun one. Daniela, hello. So last night had some more black screens of death. They're not even screens of death. It's just, well, it is a screen of death. It's just a dead computer. Was dealing with that while I was trying to get that started so that I could send renders for the day, so I could have things to Photoshop. I had to restart the computer. I had to bunch of nonsense is what I was dealing with, and I started doodling in Procreate. I'm like, I'll start some thumbnails in Procreate since I've been wanting to get to know it. And then I realized that those renderings were going to take forever once they got started, and that I should probably just let them run. And so I just kind of doodled in Procreate for a couple hours, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm still getting used to it. The paper-like pad on the top, you guys probably can't hear that. I'm sure you can't. The paper-like screen covering completely changes the game. So as opposed to like every time you make a mark, it's like this kind of like soft, kind of Bristol paper-like feeling, which I'm really loving. And I also checked out some pads. Some brush packs from Max Olicki. I think Olicki. Let me pull up his website just to show you. So I do use one of them quite a bit. Where is... Oh, that's all over the place. Del... That's better. I got the watercolor pack from him. Where is it? He does really cool stuff. There's also a link to all of his work. Super duper gorgeous. He presented at last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever that was, Playgrounds Art Festival. Really cool demo. His watercolor pack, it's nuts to me. And so I played with that. I didn't do like a ton of, you'll see. But I highly recommend it. They're like $20 and they're awesome. I haven't tried any of the other ones, so I can only speak for his latest, which is the watercolor pack. I highly recommend it. So anyway, so I doodled for like 2 hours or something like that. It's the longest amount of time I've ever drawn in Procreate and actually enjoyed it. Every other time it's been unpleasant, and I still feel like I'm trying to get a grip on the program or trying to feel comfortable. I feel like I'm still thinking a lot about, I want to copy this and transform it. It's like things that in Photoshop I wouldn't even have to like consciously think about, I'm thinking about. Which, that's just me not knowing the software. But otherwise, it's really cool. Question. Jay, you've heard of Procreate. Everyone's talking about Procreate. It's what all the kids are talking about nowadays. All the cool kids are doing it, apparently. In the odd event that anyone doesn't know what it is, it's a painting and drawing and sketching app for iPad. And actually, I did figure out this should be my iPad. I apologize for the resolution on this. I tried a quick thing to connect my computer to my iPad, which you should be able to see right now. But before we do the time lapse, I should like, I'll show you like 2 or 3 things that I really like about. I don't have much to teach about Procreate yet because I'm just learning the software. But I will say there are some really cool things going on with this brush pack, which I'll show. One is this, I don't know if we have any fountain pen fans in the audience, particularly flex pens, but he has this calligraphy pen, which, let's give it a color. And let's make it bigger than that. And I'm not sure how well you guys can see, like, there's like this beautiful texture in all of this. Hopefully you guys can make that out through the 3 different ways that this thing is rendering. It's going from the computer through Wi-Fi, or from the iPad through Wi-Fi to this other app on my computer, and then again through OBS, and blah, blah, blah. You guys get it. But it's just got all of these really kind of beautiful, like watercolory brushes that are like, you have to get used. I have a tendency to want to do this all of the time, which then gives you all these overlays. Whereas if you keep your pen down and do it at once, you can kind of keep adjusting it as you go. And it's just got a bunch of cool stuff. I think there's like 30 brushes altogether. I haven't even used all of them yet. But they all work in multiply, so you actually there are some cheats that I have found that we'll see. But you do have to kind of think in a traditional media way, right? Which is that once this goes over, even if I pick white as a color, it doesn't do anything because there's already ink down there. So you can make another layer and then paint over it, which is basically the cheat that I found, or find a different brush. But I kind of like being forced to think as though I was working with a real medium. It's a challenge that I don't think I have figured out yet by any means, but I'm pretty blown away with how like responsive the brushes are, and also how real they feel, if that makes sense. So yeah, do I have anything else? The only other thing, and this is a tip actually that Max gave in during his demo the other day, which I will use a lot in this little time lapse, which is that you can set the smudge brush so that the smudge brush, let's go back to our normal layer. The smudge brush lets you smudge things around, which is super sweet, but you can set it so that your finger does that. So that while you're drawing, I don't know how much you guys can see me, but as you're sitting and drawing, right, we can be sitting here, whoopsies, give me the pen back. As you're sitting and drawing, you can sit and smudge it as you're working. Which I've never used the eraser on Wacom pens because I just found it too awkward to turn it around. But the finger smudging is really kind of nice. You kind of have 2 brushes at your disposal at all times. And that you have to change in preferences somewhere. Gesture controls, maybe? Gesture controls, quick menu, smudge. Change it to touch. Super simple. That and decreasing the sampling time if I want to pick a color from the canvas is basically the only things that I've done as far as customizing Procreate. So let's get the time lapse started. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's get this guy started and we'll kind of talk about it. And this is, I started just doing some thumbnails. I didn't have any like goal as far as like what I was trying to draw. I was just trying to, initially I was like, let's do some thumbnails, and then I just started doodling basically. And so let's, and then I took this one up here and kind of blew it up and worked at it at a full resolution. Daniel, so glad you got the framed ink book. So glad that you are enjoying it. And yeah, it's an amazing book. I read it like once a year at very least, and then frequently I just pull it out just to look through it if I'm needing inspiration or stuck. But super glad you like that. Nitin, I took some courses from Class 101, U.S. digital drawing courses. If you liked them, I will check them out. I'm really thinking I'm going to do that Aaron Lamonic one on Learn Squared. But that's, I got this one project that's just not quite done yet, and as soon as that's done, I'm going to figure out what my game plan is on that. Pedro, good to see you, my friend. We are looking at me use Procreate, not for the first time, but for the first time actually trying to do something and start to learn it. And using an insanely cool set of brush packs from Max Olicki. And there's a link below if you want to go look at it for yourself. Just using the brushes alone is like getting me excited. That plus this screen cover, super excited. Every other time I've used Procreate, I've thought to myself, this is just not a comfortable way to draw. I don't like the feeling of the pen, and I don't know how to use the brushes, and that's kind of where I stopped. And now I'm excited because I think that this is now like a viable digital like sketchbook, at least like when me and the missus go anywhere to bring to doodle in, and that I'll actually enjoy doodling in. So yeah. Yep, working on an iPad. I'm working on one of the old I think it was the first iPad Pro 12.9 inch. So it's still got the little thumb button on it, and surprisingly, I'm still blown away. I don't know what magic and wizardry Procreate is doing with their brush engine. I took a glance at it. There's like a gazillion settings for it, and the watercolor brushes, I'm blown away by their performance, and at no point did I find like anything lagging or anything. I still don't feel comfortable drawing in it, and that's largely just because I'm so used to Photoshop. But as far as performance and kind of general look goes, like, I was blown away. Nitin, the course is Aaron Lamonic's, I think it's called Sketch Anything. I will put a link to it. Aaron Lamonic Learn Squared. I will toss this link. Where'd that window go? That is the Aaron Lamonic course that I am kind of thinking that it's time for me to take, because one of the things, drawing is such a humbling experience. I feel like every time I sit down to just draw something without like what's almost a crutch of Photoshop, because I'm so comfortable in it and I know little tips and tricks to make things look better. Every time I sit down and try to draw things, whether it's on paper or on, in this case, Procreate, it's just like a reminder of how talented a lot of people are. And so I definitely want my freehand sketching to get better. That is a thing that I've been taking seriously, but I don't think seriously enough. So expect more drawing stuff in the future, especially once I get a better kind of, right now, like I said before, I'm still thinking a lot while drawing in Procreate. And I'm looking forward to when the basic things like adding a new layer, copying a selection, like a merge selection, everything works, in its own kind of way. And I'm just not used to it yet. This is me just trying to figure out, I wanted to make that calligraphy pen such that I could draw with light colors. Relatively intuitive. Oleg, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. Thank you for stopping by. We're just looking at some Procreate fun. And yeah, this one I do 2 more thumbnails after this, and then I take this bigger. One thing I guess I should say with, I don't know if it's with Procreate itself or just with Max's brushes. I'm drawing, these are like little insets within a 4K canvas. And they definitely want to be like on a full 4K canvas. I think he mentions it somewhere in his notes. I didn't really heed it, I think, as well as I should have. But these guys, the brushes want to be big, which kind of makes them all the more impressive that they actually perform at the size that they do. And this is a lot of smudging. Like every time you see things get softer, that's just using the finger, and you really kind of forget that you're working digitally to some degree. Until you then try to change your brush or copy something. But yeah, didn't really have any idea for this except I thought, let's draw a castle. Who doesn't like a castle, right? And I kind of got to this point. It's when I stopped the thumbnail and like right here, I think I'm doodling a little thing. So I keep doodling a little bit more. But I got to this kind of point where I knew that things needed to get done. Like the image didn't feel at all finished, and even the final one doesn't feel finished to me. But I got to a point where I'm like, I know I need to do some windows and I need to do some like details and stuff. And then I just kind of like freeze up because I have so little like ability or confidence to draw those things. And if I could like, I don't know what the answer is. I think it's really just practice, lack of practice, and trying to push yourself, you know, as I say all of the time in this, push yourself kind of past your comfort levels. And so I think once we go back to that castle drawing, that's starting to get outside of my comfort level, but it's not as far as I think I need to I think what I really need to do, and this is like what artists have been saying from, you know, probably 2,000 years ago up through now, which is that if I want to get better at drawing, I should start drawing things from real life. So maybe I'll take the iPad out for a walk and draw some buildings around. Just to get myself, like, I'm not trying to render things like as though it doesn't look drawn. I like that kind of sketchy, painterly, loose aesthetic a lot. But like, I get to the point where I need to draw details, and whether it's a perspective problem or just like not really knowing what things look like, I think is probably the real thing. I need to develop that. And you kind of see it again, like everything here is I'm drawing like big milk cartons and boxes because like that I'm comfortable with. So time to step that up. Milan, the finger smudge is a ton of fun. It's a incredibly, the mixer brush tool in Photoshop, I don't like that much. The actual smudge tool you kind of use differently in Photoshop, at least I do. This one really, whether you're like drawing with a pencil or a pen, or I haven't tried any like heavy paints yet. That would like be simulating like acrylic or oil or anything like that. But it's so satisfying to be like, oh, that went wrong, and so opposed to having to erase it or draw all over, you just kind of like smudge it back into place. It's intensely gratifying, I must say. Here's gonna be a bunch of smudging. And the fact that you don't need to change brushes or anything else, you just switch from pen to finger. It's a super smart way to work. And I say that without any ego because I didn't come up with it. And I don't know if Max did. I'm sure, you know, Procreate obviously has it as a setting. So I think a lot of people like working with that. But yeah, it's rewarding in a different way that I've ever gotten from drawing with Photoshop. So this is just going back to this sketch, which I thought I would work a bit more on. And I think the drawing on this is like another 45 minutes, I think I drew, starting from like now till the end. And I'm overall, I'm looking at it on the old iPad here. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Could it be better? Always. That's the beauty of this thing. One thing I should note also, these time lapses that Procreate like automatically create when you draw in it. This is at 4K, which is how I was able to zoom into the other ones, which is nuts that they're able to record all of that live. And I think that they're just recording the key strokes and like vectors. Has to be my guess. I can't imagine that they're actually recording every stroke gets a JPEG or a frame, but they're intensely satisfying because they go. It looks like when you watch this, it looks like at no point did I pause or have like a moment of doubt where I was trying to figure something out. And the reality is that there was tons of them where either I had to Google something about how to do something in Procreate or just trying to figure out what I was going to do. So it's a little misleading in that sense because it looks like just this guy drawing and knowing where every next mark's going to go. And the reality of it is very much not the case. But it also, I slowed these down by like 50% so that like we're almost done. We got like another minute or so. But originally like 2.5 hours or however much time I spent drawing was boiled down to like 4.5, 5 minutes of time lapse, which is satisfying, but also incredibly misleading. It gives me like a better idea of just how much time some of the artists that I really, really like who've been working in Procreate and posting these time lapses, how much time they spend on their drawings, which I think managing those expectations for yourself, at least for me, is super important because I want to be able to do this drawing in like 10 minutes. Because it feels like when I watch Procreate that it's possible, or when I watch other people's time lapses, and it's not. Yeah. At least, you know, not for us mere mortals. But yeah, so this is about the end of it. Knitting, I'm glad you like this kind of stream. I appreciate that. This is like we're kind of out of things to do at this point. I don't have anything prepared. I don't have anything I really feel like I can show you guys in Procreate as far as like, hey, let me show you how to do something, because I'm just kind of figuring out things, and it's still very much a work in progress as far as me figuring out the program itself, but also a way that I like working in the program. So there'll be more thought out in the future. But for this one, I'm really excited, and I'm definitely going to continue playing with Procreate, so I would expect more in the future. But that's what I got, guys. That's it for today. Jafar, what's going on, my friend? Glad to have you here. We're just kind of wrapping up. We've been streaming for like, here's another thing just to throw out to you guys. We're looking at like, where's the timer? This was like 23 minutes or so. And I'm thinking that like, if I can figure out a way to do things productively in like a half an hour, I feel like that's a better time frame as far as thinking about this from a sustainability perspective moving forward. I feel like half an hour is probably like a good goal to set when it's not like you know, an interview or, you know, me and Patrick drinking and figuring things out and trying to teach each other something, or obviously me and Chop. But I'm thinking that this might be like the target, and we'll see how that goes moving forward. But any feedback, always appreciated. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get back to work. I'm still trying to finish up this last project. Hopefully, you know, another end of today, late tonight, early tomorrow, and then I get some free time, which I'm super excited about. So guys, thank you all for being here. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely check out Max's whatchamacallit, his brush packs. They're really cool. At least the watercolor one is. And if you're thinking about drawing on the iPad and you hate the way that the pencil feels when you know, hit the glass, paper-like screen covers, recommended, I believe, by Oleg. Amazing addition to an iPad. Frankly, I don't know why they don't just make it like that all of the time. What's going on? Oh, I got some questions. Jafar, yes, I am still planning on doing Paintover Friday. At least this week and next week. And then the future of that, I don't know. I like doing them. If you guys keep sending me them, I will keep getting to them. That I can promise. I really enjoy doing them. I find that I learn a lot in the process. So if you guys are getting something from it and you'd like me to do one for you, just send it along and I would be happy to do so. There will be a Paintover Friday this week. Will we have Patrick on Thursday? I don't know. I need to get in touch with him. What are we going to do tomorrow? Also, no idea yet, but I'll figure it out. Until then, guys, be well. Be kind to one another. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And thank you all for being here. It is appreciated. Okay, awkward time. We will talk to you guys soon. Uh-oh, the buttons are hiding. I need to find a window. Okay, cheers, fellas. And ladies, I don't mean to leave you out. YouTube does say that basically everyone who watches any of my videos is male. So for the ladies that are out there that are listening, I do appreciate you. Thank you for being here. All right, I'm out, guys. See you guys mañana. Same time as always. Be well. Be kind to one another. Take care. Boop. Boop.